Hello, Sanbonani, greetings and welcome to our very first episode of the SEZ Talks. This is the platform that is brought to you by the RBIDZ Special Economic Zones. The SEZ Talks is an innovative platform that is designed to provide that we are able to unpack the special economic zones and how they are providing the driving of industrialization, the attraction of investment, the job creation. You're talking the development of our regional economies, as well as making sure that then we are able to make the impact that is expected out of the SEZs. We hope, therefore, with the insightful conversations with our industry leaders, with our investors, our entrepreneurs and development experts, we will be able to actually unpack and see how the special economic zones are driving or shaping the trade, investment, and economic of the South African space. I'm your host. My name is Zodwa Zigalala, the Brand and Marketing Manager. And joining me today is Mr. Thabane Zulu, the Chief Executive Officer for the RBIDZ Special Economic Zone. Mr. Zulu is going to help us understand the purpose of the special economic zones, their role in economic development, and how the SEZs actually assist this, especially this one, the RBIDZ, is actually contributing to both the national and provincial development growth. Mr. Zulu, welcome. Thank you for joining us, Makeba.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Let's just get straight to it. And let's start from the top. What are the special economic zones? So the word special economic zone, for one, will be a familiar word or something that they think they know. But when you go deeper, you'll find they do not understand exactly what the SEZs are.
No, thank you very much, Mr. Zagalala, for the opportunity to provide some perspective on the special economic zones concepts. I think first and foremost, we must appreciate the strategic initiative that was taken by our government to promulgate the establishment of special economic zones in the country, which originally were known as industrial development zones. This is meant to basically, amongst other main things, to attract large investments, both domestically and internationally, into our country by establishing different zones throughout the country. As you will know that in our country currently, we have 12 special economic zones. Of course, Richards Bay ITZ being one of those zones that exist with a very clear specific mandate. One, to create job opportunities for people. And how do you do that? That's the most fundamental question. Jobs do not create themselves naturally. There has to be an effort to be made to make sure that jobs are created. So from a job creation strategy, one of the most underlying principles is to make sure that you inject the economy of the region where you operate. Like in the Richards Bay area, our region, which is King Cetshwayo, needs to be supported in terms of its economic strategy. And these zones are focusing then on attracting investment and, most importantly, international investments, taking advantage of the value proposition that you have at your disposal. Our country has a serious responsibility of making sure that our economic growth becomes a pivotal responsibility for everyone that operates within an economic space, in particular, these special zones that were established. And the DTIC, which is the department that is driving this together with economic development in different provinces, are then seized with the task of supporting special economic zones. Where there's economic growth, then there's job creation. Where there's job creation, then you are able to attract as many people as you can to make sure that they have an access into job opportunities that gets created by the economic growth that is happening in the region, but also in the province where you operate, and broadly speaking, in the country at large. I don't want to try and look into the statistics that we all have at our disposal, how our country is challenged with high levels of unemployment, in particular amongst the young people. Part of our responsibility, therefore, is to make sure that we empower people with relevant skills. And I must emphasize the importance of relevant skills. We have a lot of graduates who are sitting at home. Some of them do not have relevant skills that our industry can easily attract into our zones. And our responsibility is to channel relevant training programs
Sure.
that we can have at our disposal to make sure that as these job opportunities, they present themselves, they are ready to be able to be absorbed into those industries, and also in our zone and many other special zones in the country. That's specifically what we're doing.
Sure.
So this was the main underlying objective of why special economic zones were established, and I think it was a correct strategic direction that our country, through our government, has taken.
Indeed, and we see that globally. The SEZ, or most of the countries, whether they are still developing countries or even developed countries, are investing millions or billions in developing the SEZ. And South Africa is no different. The country has also significantly invested into the special economic zones.
Absolutely.
And I like the point you are highlighting, Mageba, of the unemployment, dealing with the unemployment.
Yes.
Let's maybe take that to the youth locally around us.
Yes.
What are the programs that we have that are assisting us in addressing the unemployment rate that we have, especially in the youth space?
That's a very important question, as I've already alluded to the fact that the levels of high unemployment in our country can no longer be a question. And if you look into the aggregation in terms of which categories of our society are mostly affected by unemployment, it's mainly the young people. And what we have done consciously, especially if I were to use Richards Bay RBIDZ as a classic example, is to establish a well-focused program, which we normally call Nalitema program, where we try to crowd in our place small, medium, and enterprises, mainly those that are run by the young people. But part of our investment strategy is to make sure that investors that have shown appetite to invest in our zone are partnered with the young people who are involved in various business activities. And the fundamental objective for that is to transfer relevant skills, but also to create opportunities for our young people to have an access to those opportunities. And I think the scourge of unemployment within the young people in the country is quite scary. And I hope that all those who are involved in the ecosystem of our economy have decided to prioritize the importance of creating a very conducive environment in our operations for young people to access job opportunities. And we are doing this quite consciously. I think we have to be intentional about it, taking the challenge that we have at our disposal as a country. And I think with time, we'll see the reduction of unemployment within the young people.
Oh, definitely. I like that we have already brought it home, because I wanted us to come and focus in this SEZ as we were firstly talking broadly.
Yes.
The mandate of this RBIDZ special economic zone. I mean, people know about it, but maybe do they know exactly what we are mandated to do?
Our mandate is quite a very exciting form of mandate, and it's not ambiguous at all. If you go to the Special Economic Zone Act, you will be able to go through the specific outline of what our mandate is. First and foremost is to provide a conducive environment through land. So we have developed what we called a land acquisition strategy, whereby we are able to acquire strategic parcels of land so that the people and the investors that have an interest, economic interest to invest in our zone, have a strategic parcel of land that they can use for that purpose. So our main mandate is to attract potential investors, both domestically and internationally, to come into our zone, do whatever form of business they want to do. Of course, we have identified different sectors that we think are quite relevant for our region in terms of things like proximity to the port, that most investors, they take competitive advantage of. But most importantly also is to make sure that there is a standard security that is applicable for investors to feel secure to invest in the zone where we operate. And our infrastructure, therefore, becomes a pivotal role to make sure that it is conducive enough for potential investors to be able to invest in our zone and run and do whatever nature of business they want to do. As we speak in our investment pipeline, based on the mandates that we have, we are currently sitting at an investment pipeline of 248 billion rand. These are different sectors that are involved. We are not very rigid in our approach. Some of the potential investors, they do want to do different businesses, some of which are not necessarily part of our sectors that we have identified. But because we operate in a very dynamic environment, we do create a conducive environment for those investors as well to come and be part of us. Currently, we have 4 operating investors, and we've got under construction other 4 as well, and we've got other catalyst projects that we have identified within our zone as part of our mandate, like Nyanza Light Metals, focusing on titanium dioxide, as well as Velma, which are catalyst project focusing on the production of edible oil. These are almost at a peak of their investment strategy that they've put within our zone. So all of that talks into our mandate of attracting investors. One investor is Singaporean investor, which is 100%. And many other investors are local in nature, and others are of international stature, and they are already operating within our zone. So that reflects how we executed the mandate, but also in our strategy that we have developed in identifying sectors to give effect into the provisions of the Act. That's what we are doing. You remember that it's easy to put a legislation and set objectives in it, but what is most important is to then develop a very clear strategy, and over and above that is to execute that strategy. I think it's easy to talk about strategies in our boardrooms, write nice documents. For me, execution is key. And if you look into our zone, our main focus in particular in this year is to make sure that we execute our strategy through various projects we've identified, approved by the board.
Oh, definitely. I like what you are highlighting in terms of the Richards Bay IDZ being able to use what's around in the investors you are referring to. So for me, that says for mostly each investor would actually thrive to the resources or competitive advantages that are around them. Absolutely. I think as you highlighted, the Richards Bay IDZ having that access to even your natural resources that we have in our area. But I just want to check, what is your view therefore on the sectors of focus or competitive advantage that the RBIDZ is leveraging on, especially maybe your manufacturing in terms of the metals beneficiation, agro-processing, depending, like also highlighting on the investors that you've highlighted as being operational in the zone currently?
Yeah, no, that's a very important question, Mrs. Zagalala. You will know that our region is generally known as one region with natural minerals that currently exist within our region, and that must be taken advantage of.
Sure.
And we also have focus as one of our sectors on agri-processing, which is one of the area, because some of the areas within our surroundings that we service as this zone, it's more on the agricultural sector.
It is.
And we have taken advantage of that. As we speak currently, there's a project that we're managing called AgriHub project, and it's meant to take the advantage of the resources that exist in that particular specific area. But also, if you look into the project that I've also alluded to, which is basically the production of titanium dioxide. This region has been seized with that particular competitive product for a very long time, and it's been since resuscitated. This project, which is an investment of about 15 billion rand, is a testimony that if you analyze your economic environment correctly and strategically, you are able to attract investors who have an appetite in that particular area. And we are looking forward into the execution of this project. As a matter of fact, we are now in the second phase of it. So these are some of the products we have.
Great.
But I must say, this region is blessed with a number of competitive advantages. If you go to our energy strategy, for example, we have identified Richards Bay IDZ, or Richards Bay in general, as a strategic energy hub for various energy projects because of the infrastructure that we have at our disposal, in particular from a gas infrastructure perspective. And quite a number of projects that we have identified within the system, which the board has actually since approved. They form part of the core investment pipeline that we have. I would say roughly 75% of the investment that we have in our pipeline relating to energy projects, gas to power projects, IPP projects that are already in the pipeline for us to be able to assist investors who have already shown interest in that. Most of the international investors who are seized with energy sector and various projects they want to do, they are already within our system to make sure that they implement those projects. That is as a result of the environment analysis that we have done in terms of the energy. And this will assist the strategy that our National Minister of Energy has identified to make sure that we must drive energy projects to assist with the security of energy in our country. And a very simple analogy will know that investors are normally keen to invest where there is a very clear security of energy for their investment.
For sure.
Where there is no energy or there are doubts about the energy provision, they tend not to be very keen to invest in those areas. So we've taken upon ourselves, Mrs. Zegalala, to make sure that energy becomes our pivotal area of strategy, to make sure that our investors and the energy security is not compromised. In fact, it raises their appetite to invest in our shores.
Oh, definitely. Now, the role of special economic zone in economic development. We hear the term all the time, SEZs are catalyst of economic development. They are catalytic in nature. You know, we use bombastic words to make sure that we push that, you know, people are aware of what we are doing. What is the role of special economic zones in economic development?
Look, they play a very important role. The economy of any country in the world is supported by different initiatives to make sure that you boost your economic strategy as a country. And special economic zones are established as one part or one economic angle within which you can use to boost the economy of the region, of the province, and of the country at large. I mean, you'll know that KwaZulu-Natal, for example, is the second largest province that contributes quite immensely towards our GDP in the country. That's part of our economic contribution. One element of that contribution comes from the existence of the two special economic zones within our province, which is Dubai Trade Port and Richards Bay RBIDZ. So that supports the economic agenda that this country has set for itself. And what we always want to try and do is to make sure that we don't stagnate. We keep on increasing our economic participation by opening up different economic spaces for different potential investors to focus on. And that helps to boost our economy. That helps to boost, as I've already said, job creation for the people, and make sure that we increase the percentage of economic growth in the country through the contribution of special economic zones. That's a very fundamental, important role that special economic zones play in our economy.
Makeba, we used to have a colleague who liked to say, let me play the devil's advocate. I know it's a say, there's no devil and there's no one we are advocating for, but there is always misconceptions about the special economic zones, about what they do, about who they benefit. What are the common misconceptions that people have that are actually not what they think SEZs are or not?
I think let us be honest on why some of the misconceptions have evolved, especially with regard to special economic zones. I think the nature of investments at times that we attract, they take time before they see the light of the day. Okay, and in some instances, it takes almost a period of 8 years, having started the process. To make sure that then there's dust on the ground, there are yellow machines on the ground because of the processes that get involved. Some of the challenges that special economic zones are faced with, especially potential investors that have shown interest in different zones in our country, are as a result of the funding gaps that at times they're faced with. That is why, as Richards Bay RBIDZ, we have taken a very bold decision to say, let us develop a financial sustainability strategy. Whereby we assist potential investors that have already been approved by our board for investment in our special economic zone, to assist them with some of the funding gaps that they can experience. I must appreciate the role that DTIC has played under the leadership of Minister Dao and our Honorable MEC Zondi in assisting us, Reverend Zondi, in assisting us in ensuring that the funding mechanisms that we are looking for, they provide quality leadership to that. But what is good about also DTIC is the SEZ funding that they've made it available for different special economic zones to put application for. So one of the challenges is the lead time that we have at our disposal before we can see the investment on the ground. I mean, I will make a classic example. The Nyanza Light Metals, the process of having this investment on the ground started in 2016.
Actually, 2011, if you
Actually,
remember.
2011, yes, exactly. And now it's 2026.
Sure.
And if you look into the journey that we have gone through, also the funding strategies that we have put in place to be where we are, crowding the private sector, crowding the public sector, you'll then understand that these are some of the type of projects that you must be patient with them. As a result, it's easy, therefore, because people at times are quite not patient to wait for that long.
Sure.
Because the demand for jobs, the demand for economic growth in our country is very high. That also then leads into these misconceptions that special economic zones are not making any impact. I think with the analysis that we are currently doing in terms of how economic zones are performing in the country, which DTI sits with, we will begin to showcase how positively special economic zones have contributed in the economy of our country.
Great.
We are being measured on annual basis, for example, as special economic zones. How many jobs do we create within our zones? Every year we are putting specific numbers during the construction, permanent jobs. That gives you a sense that indeed this misconception we can deal with, but we just have to be very aggressive in ensuring that we continuously create a conducive environment for potential investors to be crowded in, but also to crowd the private sector, in particular financial institutions like IDC, DBSA, and other international financial institutions to crowd the space so that we can get things done rather than to sit in boardrooms and talk a lot of English without any delivery.
I see. And I know that as some of the ways of demystifying these, working with the department in the province, there's those community roadshows, but what are other elements that maybe the SEZs are doing now to demystify the misconceptions and make sure that there's improved public understanding of what the SEZs are?
It's a very good question, Mrs. Zagalala. We've identified quite a number of different programs of social responsibility nature. We have a social and ethics committee as well, which is responsible for community outreach programs, and those programs are working very well. We have developed bursary schemes within our establishment to assist students who are intended, who want to do that. We've got internship programs that we are running for people who want to have some first-hand experience for the first time after they've graduated in their relevant disciplines to contribute towards our social responsibility as well, so that we also demystify that we simply exist for not supporting positively. So there is a very positive social impact that you can easily analyze and get a sense of how productively we have been assisting in the social sector as well. And we've got students whom now are full-time, who came in as interns and now are full-time employees within our establishment, which contributes towards the job creation, the employment challenges that we've spoken about earlier on. So those are the programs we've identified amongst other programs that we are busy with as part of the special economic zone, because the mandate is quite broad. It's not limiting. That's the beauty of the mandate that this act has provided to us. We have no excuses not to deliver on this mandate. It's quite broad, it's quite opening a number of opportunities that we can realize if we are focused.
Even platforms like this one.
Absolutely.
Created so that people can have first-hand access to the information. The SEZ conference upcoming.
Very interesting one. It's a very interesting conference coming, and again, it will form part of showcasing what SEZ are capable of and what they can do more on, given the challenges that we are faced with in our country and in Africa and elsewhere in the world.
We have come to the winding end of our session, Babu Makeba. Your closing remark or your parting shot as we close.
I'll say first and foremost, let us appreciate the role that our government is playing in sustaining the special economic zones, the ones that are currently operating and the ones that are in the process of being established. But let us also appreciate the leadership that has been given the responsibility of managing, in particular, different boards that are in charge of these zones, different departments, in particular, different departments of economic development and DTIC. Let us appreciate the role that they're playing. But I will say, let us be more practical. Going forward, let us be more practical. Let's talk more action, because the challenge we are dealing with of our economy, in our economic space in particular, and unemployment, is quite a very big challenge. But it can be managed by making sure that we exercise our mandate productively.
Thank you so much, Makeba, for such insightful conversation. We really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity. And
it's a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for coming and for joining us. And so today's episode actually has given us the understanding of that the SEZ are not only or merely the industrial estates, but they are strategic, developments that are made here to provide how do we drive industrialization? How do we attract investment? We have also learned about the important role that this RBIDZ Special Economic Zone plays in actually also making sure then that it lives, or it makes these objectives become reality, and also positioning KwaZulu-Natal as a competitive investment destination. To our viewers, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to, if you have not clicked that subscribe button, please, what are you waiting for? Click subscribe, follow our socials. We are RBIDZ Special Economic Zone in all our social platforms. We look forward to engaging with you again in our following episodes, where we will be continuing to unpack different information, engaging with our different experts, our investors, our different entrepreneurs that will bring more information into the space. And until then, thank you so much. Goodbye.